Well, g'day, how's it going? I just wanted to go over something. I met with some people that I met while I was away in Hawke's Bay and talking to different people, and it was interesting, something that I take for granted that often people don't take into considerations with their investing. And that is this, that as things have changed and cash flow is harder to come by, we all get paranoid about holding costs for properties. And so I think it's just useful. I just want to do a simple thing with you just to show you to bear in mind what is really going on with your investing. It's very important that you understand these numbers. This isn't anybody's particular portfolio, but just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. Let's say you've got $2 million worth of property. Okay, portfolio value. And the debt on it, say it's quite high, let's say it's 1,400,000. You haven't been going that long, got a little bit of growth, but you basically, that's your starting point. Now, let's say that to be conservative, your holding costs on that were 9%. So 1,400,000 times 9%. It's 126k a year. All right, so I'm allowing 9% is basically 8% for a mortgage and 1% for other stuff. But your income on this particular property is, let's say, only 70,000. Right, so on your rentals you're only getting 70k. It's costing you 126. So you have a shortfall of 56,000. And that's where many of us would stop, right? We go, oh, okay, I've got a problem. My portfolio is no good. It's negatively geared by 56,000 a year. However, what we forget is that this is increasing. Now, in reality, it's going to increase an average of 10%, but let's just say that we're being very, very conservative and it's only going to increase by 100,000, 5%. And that's not even compounding. So now our shortfall, which was 56, we now have a shortfall of minus 44,000. We don't have a shortfall at all. We're $44,000 better off than if we didn't have that property. All right? But then we all go, what we all say though is, well, I still have to find this money from somewhere here, and I can't get drunk on equity. Now, in one sense, that's true, but the other thing I want you to consider, and this is just something for you to think about, I'm not suggesting that you do this, but in that scenario there, where our net worth is increasing by $100,000 a year, right? And our negative cash flow is 56,000 a year. So in this particular, and I'm not suggesting that you do this, but I just want you to understand the power of growth and of equity. You could, in reality, borrow the $56,000, right, that you shortfall. Based on the 100,000 equity growth, you get it revalued, you could borrow the 56,000. And 56,000, let's say it was expensive money, 56,000 times 9%, it was $5,040, we'll call it 5,000, to service the interest. So you could borrow 61,000, right, based on an equity increase of 100,000. And that would only be geared at 61%. So you've borrowed against your increased equity and you've borrowed the interest. Now let's take that forward a year. The next year, your growth, your increase is going to be 105,000, right? Because you're going to get a compounding effect. And down here again, you could borrow. You could borrow. Your shortfall hasn't increased, so you can borrow the 61,000 again on a cost on an increase of 105,000. So the actual percentage, your loan to value ratio has dropped in the second year because your mortgages aren't going up, only your growth is. Do you understand this, the power of this? So every year you could actually keep borrowing against the equity, borrow the interest, holding costs, and not be in a bad position. In fact, your loan to value ratio, your net equity would be increasing. Now, of course, in reality, you get more experience, you learn how to trade, or you do other things. But get your head around this. Don't worry so much about being negatively geared. I haven't even factored in tax, right? and never mentioned tax at all or depreciation. So don't not look at a good deal because the yield is not there. Is somebody trying to write you out an equity check? And if they are, take it. You can borrow it if you needed to get you out of a hole in the short term. So I'm not trying to teach you this as a strategy, but I thought it was important enough from some of the people I spoke to this weekend in the Hawke's Bay, experienced investors, thought they were in a bad position. I sat down with them for an hour and said, man, you're in a fantastic position, get out there and buy some more property. It was because I explained what I've just explained to you. Hope that helps. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.